Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome to Dakar Desert Rally. This is episode number 1 of a brand new Let's Play. Now, this game came out in October, I believe it was. It's from Saber Interactive, but when it did first come out, came out with a little bit mixed reviews. It was a little buggy at the time. It's now on version 1.6, and I was excited at the time, and I'm excited now to go ahead and give this game a shot. I am looking for the hardcore Let's Play version to this one, and let's see if the game is ready and primed for that. Now, it does kind of break you in stages. I've already been through just the tutorial, and unfortunately, I'm not on my racing wheel. I am on my game pad, and that is because last time I used my racing wheel, I literally destroyed my desk. And I actually got away from racing sims for a while as a result. Eventually, I want to get full rig and start again with that because I miss it. I miss it so much. But for now, gamepad, it will be let's play some Dakar Desert Rally. We will begin with quads and the Enrico Racing Team, which of my couple of options, even though I can go back to older Dakar Rally vehicles, older quads, I only have 2 options here, and there's a huge price discrepancy for the 2 different teams, even though they are fairly similar in terms of competitive balance. We want to go out and earn some credits so that we can progress up through the different classes. 3 game modes, primary game modes that come in. You have the sport version, which is your arcade version of the game with giant beacons floating in the air that are unrealistic but typical of racing games. Professional starts to really get to the sim side of things, where you have realistic navigation. Those floating beacons are not there. You have to use the actual road books that are provided in the race itself. We're going to talk about the history of the race a little bit as we do get started with this series, but ultimately simulation is that proper. Professional somewhere in between, where simulation is the full version of that, but you've got to get all the way up to level 25 before that is unlocked. So we're going to start right away with professional, which might come with some growing pains. The sport version, tutorial wise anyway, super easy, super simple to do if you've done much racing at all over the years. Professional is probably going to come with its challenges and growing pains, and I'm okay with that. I'd rather see a challenge than go out and have an arcadey game that is absurdly easy. Speaking of background, before we enter our first stage, which looks like it'll be a 31-kilometer special stage, the Dakar Rally was an event that began in 1977 in France. You would travel a little bit through France, and then they'd hop across the Mediterranean and then race through the Sahara Desert and ultimately to the westernmost tip of Africa in Dakar, Senegal. That race across the Sahara, and that was the bulk of what the race was an epic test of endurance and rally. Now, I've really enjoyed Dirt Rally 2, but you have to be very, very, very good, especially in Rally 2, Dirt Rally 2. The first Dirt Rally was just enough of a blend between arcade and sim. You didn't have to be great. If you were good, you could succeed. Dirt Rally 2 turned into, if you don't practice the stages and if you don't do it over and over and over and over and over and over again, or unless you turn difficulties down a bit, it was so hard because the pace is insane. So either you're way off the pace, or you're crashing, unless you happen to be that good. Now, the nice thing about an event like this is the endurance event. You don't necessarily have to be the fastest to win. You have to survive. You have to get there, and you have to navigate on your own or with a team, depending on what kind of class you're racing in. But you have to navigate as a team or yourself individually through the desert. And then it comes with a whole extra set of challenges. But you don't necessarily have to be the fastest to come away. You have to be smart on how you go about it. We'll talk more about the background of the Dakar Rally as we proceed. Let's get into the first stage. This is a qualification special stage, and you can see how it's going to kind of loop around and come back on us. We're going to spend a lot of it on soil, 76% on soil for this one. There is variable weather in this game, but we are going to have a 22 waypoint task. Let's see what we can do. This is going to be my first time without the aid that we had in the sport mode. We'll see if I can get around without getting lost. And we are now in the bivouac, where they would, just prior to beginning the stage, give us our road book. The road book is something that's handed to you right before you go out there. So you don't know what the stage is beforehand. You find out moments before, and you've got to just get out there and get the job done. That's another thing that I really, really enjoy in the prospect of what is the Dakar Rally. So what the road book does is it gives you a simplistic path from waypoint to waypoint to waypoint, which is a perfect translation to what we have in games and how games have been structured for decades. We start with kilometer 0, so it's counting up, and our first point is almost straightforward. And you can see our middle image on the right-hand side here, looking up over that direction, right? That right-hand side. That first image, 0, 0, that's the kilometer. Now we proceed 1.6 kilometers for a total of 1.6 kilometers to the next, or to the first waypoint, and you just get a little map indicator, what direction to go, a couple landmarks to pass between, and the right-hand edge is additional notes to watch out for. On this first one, there's a big dip in the road to watch out for at some point, that if you hit hard enough, you're going to kind of fly and maybe go nose in on something. If we're on quads, that's not going to be quite as big of a deal. Now, if you look down to the third line, the 2.89, that is our total kilometers. The sector, that waypoint, was 1.28 kilometers. If you look back at the previous one, 1.6, add in 1.28, you get 2.89. So that's how far that particular sector was. But that's it. That's all they give you. And you have to find your way. You have to navigate your way. Now, sometimes that can be easy to do if you're following others. If you're out front and you're cutting the path, it's open desert. You have no idea what's out in front of you. And these road books are handed out right before you begin a special stage. Now, in the middle, you can see what we have with our 22 waypoints for this special stage. You are allowed to miss one. Any ones that you miss will then be assessed a penalty. And we're looking at hefty penalties that could be missed, depending on the one that you miss. There are 5-minute penalties, there are 2-minute penalties. They very much add on to your time. But it does happen. They do get missed. And in the real rally, riders bypass and go on to the next one and do pick up penalties along the way. It does happen. It is part of this sport. We might miss some of them as we go through. And like I said, so much of this is about endurance. So maintaining your vehicle is going to be a massive, massive thing right now. We're starting fresh, so let's get out there and see what we can do. With just 6 in our class, we don't have to race against very many. Even if we come in 6th on the first stage, I want to kind of keep things clean. I might not be pushing as hard. I need to be reading the road book as we go along as well. That's gonna maybe take some getting used to. So I'm gonna set the bar pretty low for this first stage. We'll see how we can do. Now in the sport mode, I easily took number 1, but it was just the tutorial mission anyway, and the waypoints were visible from far, far away. This is gonna be a lot tougher. supposedly going to be able to make our own team, our own custom everything, vehicles and whatnot. But all right, here we go. First one underway. And we are off and racing. So we've got 1.6, and that's already half. So we are straight on for now. And I think this might be our warning. Waypoint validated. Yep, that was our warning. Okay. That was the dip we had there. Okay, wow, that was already 2 waypoints. Track of where we're at here already. Slowing down as a result. Obviously, the road is kind of the way to go. Okay, big left-hander. There's the road coming together. Gotcha. I'm tracking a little bit. Okay, a big checking that's coming up though, and danger. Gotta slow down. Look at that. Raising ourselves up. We're still headed in the right direction, I believe. Okay, so we're validated. Validated. We've got a left-hander. Okay, good. Still sticking to the road for now. That's helpful. Whoa. Heavy braking, and I still can't turn. Gotta eventually lift the brake to make that turn, and we hit our waypoint still. Good. Got back on just in time for that. Very good on waypoints so far. We just bypassed. We missed something. We just missed something. We completely missed the road. There was an off-road excursion there, and we had missed what it was. Okay. Is this gonna take us? We got 10. We got 10. I've lost the path. It's got to be here. Is this it? This happens in real life. Coming that way. Down there. There we go, we hit 12. Wow. I very much got lost through all of that. Across the river. Missed 11. Am I missing 13? I missed 13 too. Where? Okay. I need to use the compass. Compass this way. Compass. Follow the compass for now. We are lost. Easy for a while, but things got tough. There we go. Okay, well, we've only missed one now. Where are we to the next one? We need to follow this guy, maybe. Follow this guy. Let's get us back on track. Accelerated a little bit. It was hard to catch back up. Back on the main route now. Alright. That sucked. We were out front there for a bit. Definitely lost the path. Following this guy's going to make it easier for now. But learning how to navigate is 100% going to be an obstacle, a challenge. This current section of notes is confusing me. Of course, following closely behind, this happens all the time in real life. Somebody kind of leading the way. Whoa, buddy. Reading the dunes becomes an important part of what you do in rally racing. Yeah, I knew for a second there that I was about to cut a waypoint, headed back over. I lost track of where this guy's at. I'm following the path now. I'm on my own. Is it along the road? Yes, let's follow the road. Follow the road towards the finish. No, it's not. No, it's not. Shoot. Lost for a second time. This is not the path. This is not the path. You are lost. Find the path of others. This is not. That was early on. That was early on the stage right there. I remember going through here a long time ago. Where'd that road go? And it's just the finish line. This is the rally. The dudes we went through a little while ago, are they not? Yes, they are. We can cut the corner a little bit now, try to catch up, because we've already validated these waypoints. It's just whatever happened at the end. Now we're catching up. And we're going to just follow this guy. Oh, it's a left. That's what. We went right, we needed to go left, and I see it on the map now. Dot, 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 and then hard left-hander along the road to the finish line. That makes sense. Okay. Okay, time. 8:27 down with 2 minutes of penalties. 10:27 down overall, and almost all of that time came in the end. I mean, that was 8 minutes right there. We would have been maybe 30 seconds behind. We did qualify on the stage at least, though. I got lost twice out there. We did good otherwise, but they will divert you from the path. I was not paying close enough attention to the road book. I was following the road. That road book is essential. I'm going to have to get used to reading that. 2 big mistakes there. One semi-costly, the 2-minute penalty, and 1 to 2 minutes of getting around. But then after that, the other one. Otherwise, we were probably the quickest, or amongst the quickest. So pace was good, but navigation, not good. And twice. Still not last, though. Still not last. And very, very competitive time. Really just... Oh, and actually, that 8:27, that wasn't even the slowest time with the penalty, but it's just behind this one guy. And that was the total time. 3:48 was the faster time, and we were up there. We were very much up there. It had us pegged at second for a while. I think the fact that we just did professional and got through that and not last and no damage really helped, because we are now level 4. I have intentions of going back and getting podiums and getting the ultimate rewards out of these eventually. For now, let's see some different rallies. Let's do some different things. Red Sea Rally is next. Now these are essentially stages of the overall Dakar rally. This one is largely sand with 68% in the sand, 25% in dunes, 7% soil. We're looking at 23.68 kilometers. It's a little shorter than the other one. Looks like we do have a bit more elevation change, but most of that early on. And you can see we are carrying what we have. We no longer have a clean bike. We have a rather dirty pair all. Everything's at 96%. That's just generally the way we're earning more. Let's get this thing back up to full. Alright, so we are allowed to miss one here. You know, I only missed one on the last one, but it looks like there's only certain ones that you can miss. Or, realistically, the max allowed to miss is, if you miss more than that, you are disqualified? Could be. Could be the case. We certainly did miss one last time. I'm trying to get a better idea of where we're at. The heading is one thing that I haven't been following, except once we get lost and trying to get to it that way. You know, it'd be nice if it kind of gave you what all the codes were, the DN, the CX. I'm assuming most of it's in French on that part, and probably not even translated. Looking through this one, there's a lot more turns involved. By the way, from 1977 all the way to 2008, the yearly Dakar Rally was virtually unchanged. It followed a very, very similar format. And this, unlike so many of the other rally events that are out there, does allow for amateurs or semi-professional racers to get out there and hone their craft. That's one of the cool things about it, for sure. But in 2008, after 4 tourists died, they canceled the event that year, and ever since, it's not really the Dakar Rally any longer. They don't finish in Dakar, they don't race across the Sahara anymore, or at least not these days. We might eventually get back to it, but beginning in 2009, for roughly a decade, they moved the rally to South America, and then now, for the last handful of years, it's been in Saudi Arabia. So all of the race takes place within Saudi Arabia now, which is not where Dakar is. Like I said, it was Senegal, West Africa. All right, well, we have 6 vehicles. We finished 5th in the other one, but that was getting lost twice. We're going to get out there and see if we can navigate a little bit better. But looking at the map, looking at the road book, this is looking like a much more difficult stage than the one we had previously. Alright, here we go. Straight on for the first one for 1.79. It looks like it's going to turn right just a little bit. Does it though? We got these rocks in the way. It's hard to tell which one we need to go. Left hand come up. There we go. Past. This is the direction we should have been going. To make a left-hander. We're tracking a little bit better now. The compass is definitely helping. I'm getting kind of the distance, how far I have to go. What's next? It's right-hander. 210, that's my general heading, so going in the right direction this time, but for waypoint validated, we just got it. Left. Yeah, this thing is kind of random all over the place right now. 135, I'm going 135. Waypoint validated. Hard right-hander. Cross the road. Cross the road. figure it out. I'm starting to figure it out. Okay, cross the water. To the right, still got. Never go to the next waypoint. Okay. Left. Right. Go left again. Left here. Be on this side, I think. There we go. Might come down the short lane straight on towards it. 3K straight ahead. You're on a different path than some of the other classes right now. Slow down because after that waypoint is what? Right-hander. 350. Okay, yep. Straight along the beach. Path. There we go. Waypoint validated. Oh, this time not getting lost here, folks. Left-hander, left-hander. Validated. We skipped one. Shoot. That's the next one. We missed one. Finish line. Take the finish. Take the finish. We do pick up 2 minutes of penalties, but we get on the podium for the first time. I missed one waypoint just before the end. Put us in the wrong direction, but we recovered. Only one navigational mistake that whole time. We got lost a little bit the one time. That 2-minute penalty might have been the difference between winning and taking third, because I do believe I had the fastest time. Almost. 5 seconds off the quickest time. 5 seconds. Oh, no, that was off the second quickest time. And Dakar had a 4:01. Oh, and then there was a 4:50. Well, we were right there with everybody else, but we had less penalties. Progress. Progress. I will take it. All right, folks. Now, this is going to be a project. I am looking to, get into the hardcore of this game, looking to see what I can do with it. Having fun with it so far. We've seen some traffic out there a couple of times. For now anyway, they're not showing us the other classes. They've just got the quads out there, but you've got the bikes and you've got 3 other vehicle classes. So I believe we've got 5 vehicle classes in all. We will absolutely be racing all 5 classes at some point and be looking to win these stages again and again and progressively into the hardest of modes. That's going to do it for this first one. Please take a moment to drop down below, click that like button, leave a comment, because the algorithm with YouTube is a cruel beast, and with a smaller YouTube channel I need that help to get this out there and get this noticed, and especially because the game has been out for a little while now. It's not brand new. The recent update was in the middle of January. It's in the middle of February, so I know more updates will come, but I had one stutter, I think, through gameplay so far. It used to be a very frequent thing. They've done a lot to address the game. It's running a lot smoother than it was. The bugs are far less frequent, and the challenge is real. Navigation, not easy unless you're in the sport mode, where it's very much an arcade game. If that's what you're into, then that's an easy thing, but I'm into the challenge. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, be safe out there, and bye for now.